Okay, you guys. Okay, so let's go through this. So we're talking about parallel and perpendicular lines in this section. I've locked the focus, but it always locks it as unfocused. So you guys already told me parallel lines mean what? They never cross or never intersect. What about perpendicular lines? You told me about those. X. Perpendicular lines. What do? They
cross.
But what's special about their crossing at a right angle? They intersect and form, you should write these down, a right angle. How many degrees is a right angle? 90 degrees. Okay? There's two symbols for parallel. There's two symbols I want you to know. This means parallel. Perpendicular is an upside down T. Okay? Because in an upside down T, this angle is a right angle or 90 degrees, or this angle is a right angle or 90 degrees. So it looks like perpendicular lines. Okay? So we need to know those things, but let's find the slopes first. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go through the lines here. The first line is in yellow. Okay? The first line's in yellow. And we need to pick 2 points. And I'll just pick, I'll just pick these 2 points here. This point and this point. So I'm going to go up 1. And I'm going to go how many to the right, Ruby? 2 to the right. So this is the run. This is the rise. And we know that slope is rise divided by run. So I'm going to get plus 1 over plus 2, which is just the same as 1 divided by 2. Line B, I'll do that one in yellow as well. Okay? So this was line A, this was line B. They're both in yellow. I can pick two more points then. I don't care which two, I'll pick these 2 points. Rise 1 and run 2. So it looks like it's the same. Plus 1 over plus 2, that's 1 over 2. Okay, line C. That's this one right here in green. Okay, there's line C. There it is in line C, and we need to pick 2 points. So let's pick these 2 points here. Rise, how many on that one? Rise 2 and run 1. So rise 2, run 1. Is that the same slope? Someone told me that they're all the same slopes. No, it's 2. You can write it as 2, or you can write it as 2 divided by 1. I'm okay with that. If you leave it divided by 1. Okay? And Trent, what did you get for the last one? Are you sure? So he said he thinks it's negative 2 divided by 1 or negative 2. Let's check. If you go up 2, you have to go back 1. So that's different than his. That's 2 divided by negative 1. Okay, well, if it's the same thing, let's check. If you go down 2, yes, I'm just showing you they're all the same. They all mean the same thing. So, in fact, he was correct. Now, this next part, I want you to compare the lines. What do I mean by compare? What's the same or different about the lines? So, look at the 2 yellow lines. What would be a way to describe them? You said what? They're what? They're parallel. So let's say line A is parallel to line B. So we're probably going to use parallel or perpendicular if we can. If you don't want to write the parallel symbol, are you writing, Kidwell? Okay, I thought you were becoming one with your paper. Okay, Okay, so there it is there. So we did A to B. Let's do A to C. Is A parallel to C? Or do they cross? They cross. Now, do they cross and form a T? No. So let's not write anything. There's nothing to say about line A and C. They just cross. If you want, you can just say line C crosses A. But it's really not that big a deal. Okay, let's try another one here. What about line A and line D? What'd you say, Trent? Perpendicular. He says, I'll write it over here, line A is perpendicular to line D. How does he know? Because when you look at A and D, look what they form right here. They make if you cover it up, it looks like an upside down T. Or if you want to go from the top, it looks like a T. So we know they're perpendicular. Okay, now we've only compared line A to everything. Have we compared line B to line C? Is there anything special? What do you think, Jared? Line B and line C, is there anything special? Or do they just cross?
Both positive.
Yeah, they both have a positive slope. We'll talk about the numbers in a second, but look at the picture. Line B and line C. Are they parallel, first of all? No. Do they cross?
Yes.
Okay, but do they cross and make a right angle? No. So they're just going to say line C crosses line B. Okay? Nothing's very interesting with line C, is it? Okay, let's look at line B and line D. Line B and line D. What do you think about that one, Isabella? Yeah, what do you think about that? Oh, no, you already did one. Gabriella, what do you think about line B and line D? What's a good way to describe them? They cross, but do they cross in a special way? Do they make a T? Or an upside down T? Yes. They make an upside down T, so we can say line B is perpendicular to line D. Just that upside down T means perpendicular. I don't have to, if you want to write the words, you can. But I'm just trying to save myself space. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. Okay, we got one. What's the last set? Okay, X. What's the last set of lines we haven't compared? We did A to B, C, and D. We did B to B, C, and D. Which two have we not compared? Okay, so line C right here, line D here. Are they parallel?
No.
Do they cross? Okay, but do they cross and make an upside down T? No. So they're just going to say, it's like this one here. Line C crosses line D. Nothing too special. I just ran out of space. Okay? Now, Jared was doing what I wanted you to do. I want you to look at the slopes. Let's look at A and B. Look at A and B and their slopes. What do we know about their slopes? They're the same. Same slopes. Okay? Let's look at A and D or B and D. So I'll just put it down here a little bit. Let's look at B slope. It's a half, right? Heather, what's the slope of D? Oh, okay. Negative 2 over 1. What's going on there? These other ones, there's nothing special with the slope. So let's think about what's going on here. So you need to watch. Some of you are like often having conversations, right? X of other things. So let's watch here. This number 1 looks like it went to the bottom, and this number 2 that was on the bottom went to the top. This whole thing was positive. Now the whole thing is negative. So it looks like we flipped the fraction and we switched the sign of the fraction. If you started with D, then you would put the 1 on top and the 2 on bottom, and this whole thing is negative, so the whole thing should become positive if you want to get line B or line A slope. So I want you to write these down here, right here. I want you to write it right here. The slope, given the slope, a slope that is parallel they have same or equal slopes. This one here, we're going to say flip and switch the slopes. Take one of the slopes, flip the fraction, or switch the slope, and switch the sign on the slopes. Flip the fraction for the slopes, and then switch the sign from positive to negative or negative to positive. Now, so put your fingers like this. Hold your fingers like this.
Can't see.
Right, just hold your feet. Do this first. You'll have a chance to write. Put your pencil down. Do it like this. Come on, Ruby.
I'm doing it.
Okay, I didn't see that hand. Okay, now I want you to do this. Flip. So, those fingers like this, flip, and then turn it this way, switch. Okay, come on, let's see, everyone's doing it. Okay, so you take the fraction and you flip it, turn it sideways, and switch the signs. So it's flip and switch. Flip and switch. Okay, everybody now. 1, 2, 3. Flip, switch. No, that's for girls.
Not really.
I know.
Flip and switch. Okay? If you ask me, what do I do for perpendicular lines, and coach or me go like this, you know what we're talking about. We're talking about flip and switch. Flip the fraction, switch the sign. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is do this, fill in this table. I want you to use this rule to do all the parallel slopes. Then I want you to do this one here, for all the perpendicular. And if numbers aren't fractions, how do you make them fractions? Put them over what? Over 1. You can put these all over 1. Do it right now. You've got about 30 seconds to a minute. Go. You fill in the table. I gave you the rules
Flip or switch?
for perpendicular.
That's the slope. Yeah, parallel. What's the slope? Same or different? Same. What?
Easy, right? Right. Good. Good. Negative 4. Negative 1, 4. Oh, 2. You did the flip. Where's the switch?
Okay, now.
See, you need to do this, right?
Flip it.
Flip it. No.
Oh,
You did switch, but no flip. You did flip and switch. You did switch, but no flip. You did flip and switch. That's it. Go. You put these ones over 1. Now, what makes the order? Yes. Over 4. And you know it's negative, so you switch.
Right, can I get a drink real quick?
This one should be what? What about these ones? Slope of this.
That's you, not me. Wait, no, girl. Can I get a drink? Please.
Nope. Slopes is Okay, so you flip. Where's the switch?
I would divide it. Offset now.
So right 2/3.
This is negative. So that's a positive. Good.
I am.
And you know flip parts, right? Now here,
Okay.
we'll go
Now
down.
you see your perpendicular. So you flip the sign, you flip the fraction, but you didn't change the sign of the first one.
Parallel,
I know it was
same number.
But it's 2/3, right? Yeah, you flipped it, it's 3 halves. Did you change the sign? Change the sign. This was 1/1, now it's 1/4. But you didn't change the sign.
Yeah,
I also got one too. What? Hey.
2 here, 3 here.
So funny, Selena.
Flip. The negative becomes positive, or positive becomes negative. That's switch, 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 okay?
I did.
Did you correct it now? Oh, did you not correct? I thought Coach saw it.
So these should all be the same. And these, this is flipped, and the sign is switched. This is flipped, and the sign is switched. This is flipped, and the sign is switched. We need them all.
Okay, let's go through it. Shh. Okay, so let's go through it here. These are all the same. So 2/3, -4, -1/4, 2. Okay, if you want to write them with the ones, you can on the bottom on these cases. But now I'm going to have to flip it. Flip. 3/2. This is positive, so this becomes negative. Switch. This should be positive. Now I flip it. 1 goes on top, 4 goes on bottom. This is negative, so I know it's going to be positive. 4 goes from the bottom to the top, and 1 goes from... No, you don't. So you notice I didn't put it on this one, right? But I'll put it there so people, for emphasis, but you don't have to put it there. Okay, this is positive, so I know it's negative. 1 goes on top, 2 goes on bottom. Okay, so let's fill in the blank here now. Lines that are parallel have slopes that are equal. Or what else? The same. Either set works. Okay, now I'm going to give you some special words here. Lines that are perpendicular have slopes that are, but be more specific. What do? Opposite what? Opposite sign. So we say opposite. What does it mean when you flip a fraction? What's the word for that? Reciprocal. Right there. RECIPROCAL. Opposite reciprocals. This means change signs. So, and this one means flip the fractions. So changing signs is opposite. Okay? Some people, instead of saying opposite, they will say negative reciprocals. That also works. So I'll take this answer as well. Okay, so when we talk about this means flip and switch. Switch the signs, flip the fractions. Let's flip the page over. What time we get out of here? We got a little bit of time, so let's plus 30.
Oh, actually, you're wrong. 12.
Okay, so parallel. Let's write what it is. They should have what? Equal, right? What's the rule for perpendicular? Flip and switch. Good. And if neither of those work, just say neither. Now I'm giving you some lines here. I'm giving you some lines here. So we have to look at their what? Slopes or y-intercepts? Slopes. We care about the slopes. We have to look at this part right here. Okay? That's what we have to look at. So let's highlight those. There's slopes here and here. There's a slope here and here. There's a slope here. And the last one on the top there, what's the slope there? What's the number in front of x? There's a 1x here. So the slope is really 1 and the 7. You don't have to write the x. It's not written in there, it's implied. So you can write it in there. So let's look at the slopes here. What is the slope of this first one? What's the slope here? Negative 1/2. What's the slope of this one? 2. Or if you want, 2 over 1. Okay, let's worry about flip and switch and stuff later. Okay, is it going to focus or not? Thank you. Okay, what's the slope on this one?
3.
What's the slope on this one? Negative 3, thank you. Ronaldo, what's the slope on this one right here? 1/7, thank you. Esther, what's the slope on this one? I already picked on you, Isabella. 1/7. Okay, so when I'm given these problems, I always check for parallel first. Are there any equal slopes there? Does this slope equal this slope? Does this slope equal this slope? No. Does this slope equal this slope? So this one I'm going to say is parallel. If you don't want to write parallel, you can use the parallel symbol. Okay, now, since we've done parallel, let's look for perpendicular. Does flip and switch work? So Ruby, help me out here. In number 1, they're obviously not the same, but if we took one of these, could we flip and switch it and get the other one? I know, you choose. You want to use the first slope or the second slope? She wants to use the first slope. So, Ruby, if I flip it, what's it going to do? What are the numbers? Don't worry about the sign yet. Look at the big numbers right there or on your paper. 2 over 1. Okay, but now that's the flip. What's the switch? It's supposed to be positive. So this can stay like this. Is this the same as that, Ruby? So did flip and switch work? Flip and switch worked. So that means this is parallel. This one we can write, perpendicular. We can write this as perpendicular. Or, better yet, use the upside down T and you don't have to write as much. Okay? Okay, Jared, you ready? Ready or not, here it comes. If these numbers are whole numbers, what can we put on the bottom to make them fractions so we can do... What can we put on the bottom? 1, correct. Okay, Dawson, we know they're not the same, all right? So let's check perpendicular. Which one do you want to try flipping and switching? Second one, okay. So let's do the flip. You tell me what I write after I do the flip.
1
Yep.
over 3.
Okay, now do the switch.
And then instead of negative, positive.
It's positive. So is that the same as that? No. Hey, you guys, shh. They're not the same. Did flip and switch work? No. Parallel doesn't work. Flip and switch doesn't work. So we'll just say there's nothing special. We'll just say neither. Neither. Okay. I want you, listen up. We're going to do the bottom 2 questions later. I'm going to give you a sheet. It's going to have problems like this. I want you to do that right now. I want you to do the sheet. Stop it.